Smart24 Driving Business.
A very good morning and welcome to Smart Men's Business. I'm Anshin Paride. Today is the 14th, that's of November, and it's a Monday. It's a new week, and of course, I welcome you back from the weekend. Hope you really had a great one, and of course, I hope you were able to strategize and make the appropriate decisions, of course, regarding the business environment to ensure that this new week is a better week as compared to the previous one. Remember, the previous week mistakes are just a way forward to teach you how best can you come about in this current new week. Of course, the weekend was quite busy, quite a lot of events, so many social events that took place, and majority of the people actually happened to be a part of that. But the most important thing is to ensure that you actually you make the right decisions. You didn't really spend all the profits that you made throughout the previous week in just 2 days. So it is very important to consider that. And of course, quite a lot is happening within the country. A lot of economical factors, so many factors that are taking place. And of course, these have a way they influence the Ugandan in terms of decision making. And definitely, if you're not really up to standard of information, you might really end up not making the right decisions, which might cost you in a long run. Welcome to SMB News Breakup as we go through that Friday's news stories. We're really making headlines into the world of business. And probably before we get there, just a brief review of what we might expect this morning. We shall review something regarding Uganda signing an MOU with Japan. Then we have an insight regarding inclusiveness that's in electricity supply, and also we shall view some aspects regarding renewal of the national identity cards, and then the integrated marketing symposium. And of course, quite a lot of that is going to be coming up. And to start with, and of course, we are going straight to Uganda, signing a memorandum of understanding with Japan, and that's in order to support young employment creation, innovation, and capacity building among Ugandans. The Ministry of Information Communication Technology signed an agreement with Japan International Cooperation Agency. Let's have the details of this report.
As a ministry that are aimed at strengthening the innovation ecosystem, strengthening capacity building and skilling, as well as promoting employment opportunities for the youths in this country. We know that the pain points that we have as a country is that the majority of our population who are youths are largely unemployed, and yet they are educated. They have university degrees, but we came up together as a team and said, how do we manage this? The ministry already has structures in place to as an enabling environment to support this. We have set up the BPO and Innovation Council that is guiding us on creating an enabling environment for promoting BPOs and IT enabled services. And then we have the Innovation Fund that has supported innovators and grown some of these innovations and scaled them up to commercial use and use by government. We have innovation systems that we are using as government, developed by our own Ugandans. We have the e-procurement system. We have the online business registration system by URSB.
According to the World Bank report 2021, Japan has an employment rate of 3%, whereas Uganda has an employment rate of 83%. Japan's intervention to assist Uganda in solving this issue is primarily motivated by this. Takeuchi, the head representative of JICA, reportedly stated that they would teach Ugandans and also take them to Japan to learn more about technology.
By providing a lot of training opportunities in Japan for ministry officials. But after signing this document, we move to next stages. We are going to start a new technical cooperation project, which is targeting to strengthen ICT industry in this country. We are going to recruit a Japanese consultant team after the endorsement, and through the team, we are going to support to strengthen the policy development and also privatizing. And so we are going to support ICT talent development, human resource development. And so we'd like to promote the business matching between those ICT talent and domestic and foreign ICT companies. Strengthen the entrepreneurs of young, talented Ugandans.
The Permanent Secretary continued by assuring Ugandans that this initiative will get underway as soon as possible and the effects would be evident as soon as possible.
The interaction and collaboration and partnership that we are going to sign today with JICA is not the first of its kind. We have had a number of partnerships with JICA in this country, in Uganda, not only with the Ministry of ICT, but various sectors in academia, in health as well, infrastructure development, and a number of those. And I believe all of us here could have benefited from JICA in one way or the other. Personally, I think as I was in university, I benefited from studying in what we call the JICA building, Faculty of Science building in Makerere University.
The Ministry of ICT seeks to bring on board the private sector, stakeholders and other development partners to curb down the increasing number of unemployment opportunities among Ugandans. Monica Nabyonga, Smart24 TV, Business Today.
Regarding the Japan signing a memorandum of understanding with Uganda. And of course, we see that if you're to compare the unemployment rates in the both countries, Japan is slightly lower than Uganda, as it's estimated at 3% as compared to Uganda of 83%. So such an exchange program will be very vital in terms of exchanging knowledge and skills. And of course, the most important thing is that if the Ugandans get the skills, it's very appropriate that they really do apply them to ensure that they really create value intended from this memorandum of understanding. Let me say that. So that is very, very influential right there. Of course, now away from that, let's head to electricity inclusiveness. But this time around, we are looking at the possibilities of the private sector to participate in electricity supply. Let's have the details.
A conducive and enabling environment that attracts foreign and direct investment into the electricity sector, interested partners in the private sector need to grow their participation in the industry.
Different products that are on the local market, their quantity, the production capacity, the level of standards, and how we can match it with the standards that we need within the electricity supply industry, so that we are able to locally source the materials that we need for construction, for operation and maintenance within the electricity supply industry. Now, this speaks to the BUBU by Uganda, Build Uganda, but also we are speaking to ensure that we don't dollarize the electricity supply industry. You are aware that among the negative impacts that push the tariff up is when the dollar strengthens against the shilling, largely because most of the inputs, the equipment, the materials that we've been using for manufacturing are sourced in the international market. But today has been a very successful day for both the manufacturers as well as the electricity supply industry.
Some local electricity subsector players are incapacitated to produce quality products because the industry is highly capital intensive, and there are also limitations in technology and innovation.
Forthcoming, they're also willing to partner with us to continuously improve the quality of their products, as well as invest in the R&D to ensure that we progressively innovate so that we are able to catch up with the technological advancement. Because we are not remaining behind as the sector, we're also looking at self-healing networks. We are looking at smartism. we are looking at leveraging ICT to improve the reliability of supplies.
The response to Smart24 phone call interview with Steamer Transformers and Electricals Limited on how inclusive local content has been and how the quality of procurement of the Electricity Regulatory Authority is moving was positive.
Yes, we are benefited as long as the quality is maintained, and I'm happy that they are not compromising its quality. At present, we are selling to like UDs here. They are and they are happy with the product what we supply. And we just want to satisfy them with our service and quality, punctuality. So soon, we are also coming with our new unit. So we are planning to, we are maybe people to have inspection. Then Ungeme will be also, be our one of the biggest clients. There's a big challenge. Actually, we are not only manufacturing for Uganda, we are also exporting to some of the neighboring countries like Rwanda or Congo or Sudan. And our transformer quality is as equal to as any European country. Okay? Yeah, most of the raw material we are importing because we don't find that much of that quality to give the perfect result. So we are importing the copper. In near future, if the people establish a good a copper industry, then we'll be procuring from local. At present, mostly I prefer like India.
A representative from the Ministry of Trade in the industry subsector says that the licensing ground of manufacturers and other sector players will check to see if they are environmental and socially compliant because many have lost out on bids to investors.
What we will be doing in the licensing process is we will also have an additional certification process for entities that we believe are manufacturing in an environmentally and sustainable manner. And to make it really more user-friendly is we are using a star system. So basically we don't want to say that you must be completely compliant or non-compliant, but basically to assess the level of compliance and use almost like, the hotel 5-star, 1-star, 2 stars, 3 stars, something like that. So we are putting that in place to address that because we have found that some of our industries, some of our manufacturers who are environmentally and socially compliant are being turned down by foreign buyers or by foreign investors because they cannot prove that they are compliant.
A company with a Ugandan registration that is entirely owned and managed by Ugandans is referred to as a national provider, whereas to the Public Procurement Disposal of Public Assets Authority, a resident provider is one that has incorporated in Uganda for at least 2 years at a time of bid submission and is not a national provider. Rona Nahabwe, Smart24 TV, Business Today.
The socio-economic transformation of Uganda's power supply will be facilitated by maximizing the amount of participation of people's enterprises and, of course, and capital development through funding human adaptive capacities. In order to advance other social benefits like job creation, the government should therefore be deliberate, of course, in finding chances of private sector participation that's in the power supply industry domestically. All right, away from that now, let's say to the renewal of the national identity cards. As we look at the government through the Ministry of Internal Affairs, planning to start the process of renewing the national IDs from June 2023 to August, that's 2024. The members of Parliament believe that paying 50,000 that's express and 200,000 for a replacement or charge or change of information is excessively expensive, and given that's the current economic climate. Let's have the details.
The MP for Kabali municipality brought the topic before the legislature. He emphasized that while the process of renewing national IDs is beneficial, Ugandans shouldn't be charged so much during a period of high inflation.
Speaker and colleagues, the Ministry of Internal Affairs under the National Affairs of the National Identification and Registration Authority plans to carry out a mass enrollment and renewal of national identity cards from June 2023 to August 2024.
In response, the State Minister for Internal Affairs has told Parliament that the issue mentioned is already in the law and was discussed some time ago, but they can still look into it and see where they can make changes for the good of all Ugandans.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, I take cognizance of the concern of the Honourable Kamara, but I want to say that this idea of mass enrollment was presented before this House, and I hope he was here. If he wasn't, that issue he's talking about is already in the law, the Registration of Persons Act. It's not a new idea, but it's not cast in stone. We can review it and see what position we can reach with the Parliament.
The minister has further asked for some time to consult Cabinet on the same charges and later bring back to Parliament an informed position from the government.
The Speaker, is that for express processing of a passport, you incur a fee, and for a passport which is lost, rather an identity card which is lost, not a passport.
And what is raising that in these hard times, people are not able to pay how much? 50,000?
50,000.
So that is what is raising. So for him, he's saying, and since you've said it is not cast on stone, so can we review the prices? Is it possible? That's what he's asking.
Can I consult and maybe come back with a more informed position?
Thank you.
Samlanifa, Smart24 TV, Business Today.
Concern definitely with the fees, and of course looking at the 50,000 express and 200,000, that's for replacement, all the change of information, and of course given the current economic conditions, that's quite unfavorable. So they were trying to express opinions regarding that aspect. Probably the responsible stakeholders could change something, you never know. All right, now away from that, let's say to the integrated marketing symposium, and of course which was held on Friday, with the future of marketing and advertising, and of course addressed business challenges as a way of creating a thriving digital market in Uganda and strengthening the country's economy. Let's have the details.
Employer of young people, the industry was urged during the Integrated Marketing Symposium for developers to produce compatible, factual content that will help them expand in the market, benefit from the digital era, and remain competitive.
The symposium is really to bring all stakeholders on board. We have a discussion and talk about the issues within the industry as it is evolving. You've heard what UCCA director is talking about. The digital age is affecting us, and maybe also what we had to note is the advertising industry is using most of the youngest members in the community. And
early last year, the Ugandan government blocked Facebook. Additionally, there have been numerous attempts to negotiate Facebook's unblocking without success. Millions of Ugandan business owners who utilize Facebook were adversely affected, and they now must use the government task force to reopen it. Uganda Communications Commission is hopeful that this will open up soon.
Yes, one of the things that I want to communicate is, look guys, the world is changing, right? We're working in a world today where you have people working in different time zones, right? India, Europe, Africa, US, you're on the same team, right? You're working in an environment where, it's 24/7, right? It's digital, it doesn't sleep. So asking people to come to the office all the time, I think is, and I see even the big guys, Elon Musk is still doing that, right? It is up to debate, but where I sit is that we have to change, especially the older guys, and allow that the world is changing, not hold on to that old school.
Regarding internet costs in Uganda, the government indicates that prices may not reduce now due to the expensive cables used, but the prices of internet are dropping dramatically, which is enabling many entrepreneurs do business online.
About when Facebook will be open, I cannot tell because the prerogative still rests with the highest authority, and I'm sure he is in touch with various players in this country, and upon assessment of the situation, he may even as soon as tomorrow, next week, next month, whatever. So we leave it open, but he's very concerned as well that this platform is being used or is used by a lot of people, especially youngsters, in doing business and reaching out socially. It's also a revenue earner for the country.
The focus of the symposium is on talent management, digital trends and impact on businesses through harnessing new media, research management, building linkages and synergies, and the role of innovation in building a sustainable brand and succession planning.
The cost of internet in Uganda, if you look at your statistics, well, we can always provide it to you if you want, but it's also available on our website, has been dropping down dramatically. It is instructive to note that while other costs of items, fuel and the rest go up, internet, ICT services, calls is going downwards. Even in the times when COVID was hitting us hard, we didn't have a surge in the cost of communication services. They're dropping constantly.
Uganda Advertising Association, the governing board of advertising and marketing agencies in the country, will hold the Silverback Awards aimed at recognizing creative, public relations and media excellence in the country.
That's the Integrated Market Symposium that's aimed to build a vibrant digital economy and also addressing the challenges that are facing the business community are quite so many. So solutions, what is the way forward for the businesses, but above all, emphasizing innovation in such a time. Now we come to the end of the news recap this morning as we look through the Ministry of Finance and ICT. That's the government through the Ministry of Finance and ICT. The government submitted a new loan, that's a new loan request to the National Economic Committee that's amounting to $200 million. The parliamentarians are concerned about the high appetite of borrowing at a time when the economy is struggling. Let's have the details.
Of State for Finance, and Chris Baliomusi, the Minister of Information and Communication Technology, have presented the loan request. They emphasized the need for the loan for managing the project, promoting digital inclusion of host communities for refugees, and enabling digital connectivity and government transformation.
Component 1 is expanding digital connectivity in selected areas, and this has been costed at $86 million. Component 2, which is enabling digital transformation of the government, this has been costed at $50 million. Component 3 is promoting digital inclusion of refugee host communities, and this has been costed at $57 million.
The committee members, on the other hand, have highlighted their concern regarding the ongoing borrowing at a time when the economy is suffering.
We're running to almost a shutdown as a government. Now, these are the project loans, including this one, and the one yet to come, the one which you are willing to come and present next week. I think as a committee, we need to advise Parliament that the economy is doing very badly, debt sustainability is a very big issue, and such loans like this one, project loans, we can dwell with them.
Legislators claim that despite the Bank of Uganda raising an alarm about borrowing, the government continues to ask for loans occasionally, depleting the nation's savings.
The chiefs at the Bank of Uganda are constantly raising a red flag on borrowing and advising government. But on the other side, government is coming to take in more loans. Now, who should we believe in? Because Bank of Uganda is saying the reserve has been reduced from about 4.5 to $3.6 billion. And getting more loans would threaten the ability to inject the reserve in stabilizing shillings, and yet you know currently the inflation is going to double digit.
In our recent meeting with Bank of Uganda, the deputy governor clearly stated that given the current state of the economy, it would be prudent for government to focus more as we plan now, as we execute the current budget, as we plan, as we go through the next budgeting cycle, to plan more, to put resources, to inject more funds in production and value addition.
In response, Musasizi has informed the MPs that while they are aware of Bank of Uganda's worries, they believe that proper management of the economy cannot be achieved by focusing just on monetary policy while ignoring fiscal policy, because the two are intertwined.
The network itself, strengthening the network itself, to enable people who want to use the IT services have the infrastructure in place. Therefore, I want to believe that this borrowing is in line and it addresses the concerns the governor raised. I want to combine this with the additional question by Honorable Tony Ayo.
The minister also reassured lawmakers that the credit in question is not a luxury loan, as some of them may have believed.
First of all, this is not a luxury loan. This is a loan to invest in infrastructure. Dr. Chris, the Minister of ICT, will talk more about the development impact this loan will bring to the economy. On debt sustainability, Honorable Baka, like Honorable Byanyuma said, Uganda is not among the countries which are distressed with debt. Our debt is still within the manageable levels, both now and in the medium term.
It's exactly 36 minutes past the hour of 7 a.m. At this particular time, let's get into a short commercial break, and of course more returns. Stick around. Good morning.